Why do we learn? What do we learn? And how do we learn? These were some of the reasons I started this podcast. This is an audio and video show where we interview a diverse set of learners in the 20. On each episode of this show, we interview a guest who has a story to share about how they acquired a set of skills and knowledge in a creative and innovative manner. In the process, we hope to uncover a new understanding of learning as conceptualized, imagined, and narrated by the guest in our show. Today's guest, Harsh Panchal, is someone who I've known since school. A little bit about him before we jump into this conversation. Harsh is a visual storyteller who has navigated the journey from graphic designer to art director with creativity and strategy. With a sharp eye for design and branding, he has led diverse projects pushing creative boundaries. Today, he shares his insights on evolving in the ever changing world of design. So, Harsh, thank you for making time for this. I know it's a busy week for you as well, but going back, whenever we start this conversation, the first question we have is, what was Harsh like as a student growing up? What were some of the things you were curious about? Because one thing I remember of you is you always used to draw, even in school. Or did
I
you always
used
have?
to draw, I used to edit pictures, I think. So
Yes, like,
whatever
did you
pictures
always have that curiosity
that
growing up
Panchal.
too?
Yeah. So always had an interest during school also. I used to edit pictures. You might have seen me doing Photoshop and I don't know what all during school days. So yeah, I think that was one key thing where, my focus went towards creativity.
And what about science and commerce? Because those are the normal paths that people, suggest for students in India. So you never were interested in those subjects.
I was never a strong student, I would say, in terms of studying or something like that. But yeah, commerce or science was not my focus at all.
And after because I know you spent some time of your life in Bahrain and then you moved to Bombay. So when you were in your junior college years, did you take up any courses on graphic design that helped you develop that curiosity, Harsh?
So after my 11th, I think after my 11th, I shifted to Mumbai. Then I did my 12th year. Later, I think I did a short course of graphic designing, say around 2 3 months, and then I was like, yeah, I think this is what I want to do. Then I took up my degree. I did my BA in VFX and animation, which was a 4 year degree thing. I think yeah, then things started developing for me. Got many opportunities as well.
Yeah, because I'm looking at your career, you've been consistently working in different graphic design roles. But in that 4-year course on VFX and design, Harsh, what do you learn in that kind of course? Can you break that down year on?
So I think the first year is around you study about graphic designing. It's like total 2D stuff, from 2D statics, from 2D animation skills. Then later you go into 3D. So there you learn 3D Max, 3D Maya, visualization of like After Effects and all, like how you blend things 3D to. So yeah, that's all about the thing.
And then in the third and fourth year, do you get to do internships and stuff? Is that how it works?
There's no internship, but what I did was I started my career in 2013. Like I got my first job in 2013. So I was doing my degree plus job.
So you're working simultaneously as
Yeah.
well, right? That's interesting. Yeah, and what was your experience in your first few jobs? Your first job was as a junior graphic
Yeah.
designer was stuff cool. So what were you doing there in your first role?
So I think first I took 8 attempts to join that company. It was like, see, there were I think two designers with me. All of them were junior. So we had to create website banners and stuff for that. Basically, what all new products used to come. So Stuffcool is a mobile accessory brand, correct? So we used to create emailers, newsletters, website banners, social media posts for them.
And then in your second job, I think you were there for 2 years. Why did you shift to another job? What kind of skills you were?
So I was doing my degree, as I told you.
Yeah.
So I wanted to complete that and need to focus on the DD bit of the degree. Then, so I took a break. Then I joined again, and I think e-furtherance. I'm not sure. Yeah, e-furtherance. So there it was like it was a UK based company, and we used to do I think courses for online courses. I think so. We used to create website images for them.
So I think at this point it was mostly digital graphic design you're
Digital,
creating.
digital. Yeah, yeah.
Is there a component that's physical as well, where you're designing for in live ads or physical ads right now, or not as?
No, no. So Live as it?
as in like a physical board or an advertisement, or is it primarily a digital
No, no.
job?
This was completely digital. So earlier it was like digital. Then I think once I joined Believe, it's an entertainment company. So there I think we started doing events. So it was more into Bollywood music stuff. So there we used to, attend events. We used to host them. So there it was more of print work and digital work. Like
Interesting.
hoardings and stuff. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. And like what I mean, like if you had to describe a day, like what is graphic design for someone that doesn't know anything about it? Because I know you started as a graphic designer, now you are an art director. So what is graphic design in the most basic words?
So graphic designing is like, in simple words, I would say everything that you see is graphics right now. Correct? From small to small things. Like if you see this, I don't know, can you see? This is also graphic designing. It's a logo. Correct? So whatever you create, like whatever you see through your eyes, it's all graphic designing. It's an very important role, I would say, in this time.
So like would UX and UI also be graphic design, or is that not?
UI UX mainly comes into website designing. Correct. UI is basically your structure, and UX is how you design it,
So graphic design is more of the visual elements that.
visual elements and stuff. Yeah. So all hoardings, all website banners, social media posts, that's all graphic designing.
So like what are like some elements of it? Like, typography, color, like can you like list out some of the elements of it?
See, so I'll start with the process. I would definitely say, like, we'll start with the process. Graphic designing is mainly about what you visualize first. Okay, you create a mood board out of it. Correct. So from that mood board, then you would divide things like typography, as you said. So typography, colors. Then what sort of styling do you want? Correct. So you create, you from that mood board you pick out few elements and whatever the project is about. So you create few elements of that and then you mix them together and create a layout.
Makes sense. Yeah, because I think that is the like how many people normally work on like can a single graphic designer do it, Harsh? Or like do you need a lot of people to do different elements?
See, now as an art director, like where I am right now, I lead a team of say 8 people right now. Okay, from which 8 are statics and 2 are videographers. Okay, so yeah, it's a mix of it's a team management thing, I would say. Um, So not it's not like one person can do it. You need at least 2 guys working on one project.
Interesting. Yeah, and like for a young graphic designer, Harsh, like how do they like document their work? Because I know like my sister also is in graphic design and she uses Behance a lot. So
Yeah,
do
yeah,
you have any recommendations for how to document your
yeah.
portfolio?
So like now there are multiple websites. So there's Wix Portfolio, there is Behance, there's Adobe Portfolio as well right now. So you can showcase your work over there. And but I would suggest Wix Portfolio is the best one to do because it's completely like a website thing, your personal website, rather than Behance. Behance is just like putting your dump over there and just see the work. But Wix portfolio, I would suggest people to start using it.
So that is like a personal website where you can
Yeah,
document all the projects you worked on.
all the projects from your CV to your projects, everything, every small details about you.
And is that necessary for like a designer today in today's world? Because I
So
mean,
earlier when I started my journey back in 2013, it was all about there was no Wix or I think Behance was there, but there was no Wix portfolio or Adobe portfolio. So I used to take everything as a printout on a A4 sheet, and I used to showcase my work. But then time changed, everything changed. From Behance, it went to portfolios. It's like different now. So now, currently, where I'm interviewing people, so they come up with their work in a pen drive.
I mean, it's changing, right? And I think you have to like evolve with like
Yeah,
times. Like apart from work, Harsh, what are some of the other things that you are like curious about? I know you always like cricket, so but what are some?
I still play cricket, both underarm and overarm. I've developed a new interest for bike riding.
Okay,
So yeah, during the lockdown, I think after the lockdown, maybe I have gone on many ride trips. Then I like driving, music. I think yeah.
like movies. Are movies still a thing
Not
for you?
really. I'm
Not
lost
really.
interest in movies now.
Okay, because I
Apart
feel like
from SRK
sorry.
movies.
Because I remember you really always enjoyed SRK. And like, why sports though? Like, what do you enjoy about sports, Harsh? Like, what are some things? Or
It's
like,
like, what do I say? Like, since the start, like when we were small, I think I was always playing cricket.
yeah,
So I never liked football, nothing, no football, just cricket. Everything was on cricket. And then when I shifted to Bombay, then I started playing badminton, volleyball. So yeah, I think it was always there in me, like, physical activities.
very interesting. And like, what was that shift from Bahrain to Bombay like for you? Did you find a huge difference?
So I'll tell you, when I left Bahrain, when the door closed of the house, I like very low on energy and very emotional. Then in like in the next 4 hours, we reached Mumbai. We entered the house, and I was like, "Oh shit, where are we?" So for the starting 6 months, I think I didn't get down because I didn't know anyone. It was difficult. Then I joined college. I started making friends, but yeah, it was quite difficult. So I would say maybe 3 years were difficult for me. I really missed Bahrain. I still do.
Yeah, because I remember you had like a strong social circle and a lot of friends, and I
Is
think
it?
it's hard
Is it?
because I mean, at least the ones I remember, like Teja, Gotham, and a couple
Yeah, yeah,
others were like. But I feel like at that time in your life, it's hard to like change, right? Move to a new city, especially when you're in high school and university.
yeah, exactly. When did you come? Bombay?
I moved after 12th, Harsh.
After
Bombay,
12.
like, so I was here after 12th, yeah. So I was there till 12th. But yeah, like, like apart from that, like, what are some like upcoming trends on graphic design that, people should like know about, or like some new
Now
technologies that,
it's become, earlier things used to be very jazzy. Okay. Now people like minimal stuff, like cleaner background, cleaner text, solid text, like, in focus. So minimalism is what I would say. Like it's trending right now.
and like, what are some brands that you think, like in India, some brands that are doing really good graphic design today, according to you?
Say Coca-Cola. I think they did a very nice campaign. Like it was fully illustrated. Everything was like superb. I'll show you an example. Maybe I'll share it with you later
Yeah.
on. It's like amazing work what Coca-Cola has did. And then I think there are many like Seven Up is doing, and then there are new brands that are coming. So basically, advertisement is like completely now. I just saw an ad of Durex. So they did this 69 thing on a newspaper. So like the newspaper is two-sided and it's upside down.
Oh, wow. That's creative, right? Because you have to use the space you have in like a new way, right?
I was working on this Supreme, what was it? Supreme Universal. It's a real estate brand. We did a jacket newspaper for them. It came in economics times. So jacket newspaper is you have your creative on this side, okay, and then you have two folds on it, okay. So once you open it, you can see the creative on it. So you can work on this two fold plus the inside ka part and your main creative. So I think yeah, there are multiple things that you can do.
Like, what about some international brands, like Harsh? Like, apart from like, I mean, Coca-Cola and Seven Up are international brands, but like, is there a brand that you think has a very clean aesthetic that you appreciate?
So international brand, I think I've worked with HSBC. I think HSBC. We did an event with them, and then MG Motors. Correct. We have done great work with them also.
Awesome. And like, are there any books, Harsh, like for a young designer, like that they can read or like learn more about graphic design according to you?
See, I think whatever they teach you when you're doing your course, that is much enough to understand. Like, I never believed in reading books.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, you get into it, you take the inspiration from them. So I think books and all, I was never to it.
I mean, it's more practice like dominated, right? I feel like you have to
More
learn.
practice, but you need to, feel it. Like, the more you do, you feel it, and then that is how you learn.
I feel like, would you recommend the way that you did it, where you were working during college? Is that the path you would recommend for like someone overall?
Sorry?
Like the path where you were working during college, is that something you would recommend?
See, it depends. Like, if you want to work with your studies, if you're comfortable doing it, please do. or else finish your course, take your time and do. But there's, graphic designing in Mumbai, what I have noticed over in the last 2, 3 years, people want things very like, jaldi, 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 which is not the way to do things. You need your time. You need you need your space to create something nice.
Yeah, and I feel like your career, you've shown that, right? It's been like a long time with several different roles, and I think that becomes essential, right? Yeah, it's like, and like for the last question, I just wanted to ask you, like, for someone that's just starting off their career, like just getting into the field, like, do you have any suggestions or advice for how they can work on it, or any thoughts about from your career?
See, obviously, if you are into that creativity, you have that creativity in you, please do join the course. Start learning. See, it's not only for people who are interested who want to make their career in it, correct? Someone not having the knowledge also can do graphic designing. It will help in different ways. Like, suppose if I want to just create a name, logo or something, if you want to do it, why not do it yourself?
Yeah,
Small things people should learn, I think.
because I think it's a skill that is quite handy in today's world, right? I think,
So here I think there is people do use Canva.
yeah,
Canva is just like a template based thing. You enter details and you're done.
yeah. Like, is that something that you would recommend for new designers, like using Canva? Like, no, right? Like, as an art director, would that like turn you off if they're using Canva?
Yes. So
Because
I have clients like, अरे Canva पे दो मिनट में बनता है.
yeah, true, right? Yeah, because I mean, if they want that basic level of expertise, because I feel like it's a like understanding the typography, the color, the font. I think it's a way more complex than just like having like a tool just design it for you over like. So Harsh, thank you so much, for making time for this. For the listeners tuning in, what I will do is I'll link Harsh's LinkedIn profile where you can understand his work better, and he does post periodically about some of his projects and his campaigns. So Harsh, thanks again. I really appreciate this time you made for this in the middle of the end of your week. But thanks again, Harsh. Perfect.